everyone. I'll start with a story. 3 years ago from now, I was on a flight, flying from here, Azerbaijan, to Turkey. And ever since my childhood, I loved aviation. I loved aerospace, sustainability, and now that we are facing global warming, I thought, yeah, there's gotta be a way that we can act to sustain aerospace and this industry. So I always wanted to talk to pilots when I was on a flight. And I approached a pilot at the end of this flight and I asked, Captain, what is it? Are the pilots gonna exist or will they go extinct? Because I had a dream of becoming a pilot and I was unsure. Should I do that or should I go for anything else, for medicine or any other field? And she said, urban air mobility. This was everything she said, and ever since I started researching this topic. But what is urban air mobility and how did I get there? So I started researching and recently published my first article with one of the Italian professors whom I met online on LinkedIn after getting 76 rejections of writing a paper together with a professor. So these days, you are all aware of traffic that we're facing in urban cities. The urban transformation is leading to congestion. We're seeing negative aspects of our city development. So what can we do and what can we as youth do specifically, I thought, from a real story in Azerbaijan every day. It's COP now, not many people use cars, so you may not see as much traffic as we do usually. And I saw that we have lots of traffic congestion. And this all can be solved with urban air mobility, which basically is drones, is regular Uber or Bolt taxis that you see in the United States that are drones, that are unmanned. And if we implement them, this reduces traffic congestion for approximately 45%. And what I thought, okay, great. We have this problem of traffic, we have urban problems. We want to involve aerospace into our daily lives, but we're young and people do not trust us. What can we do? How can a 15-year-old or 16-year-old now do something that would fluctuate traffic to a positive way? So what we started with is I founded this organization, Uşaqlarımıza Öyrədək, where we thought of bringing inclusivity and empower youth to educate them in STEM and aerospace specifically. So we started to collaborate with local companies from the start. Then we got into United Nations Major Group for Youth. And at the end, we talked to the State Space Agency, which by the way brought us this rocket right here. And we thought, how can we translate this into this, but efficiently? So for now, we are too young and we do not have as much resources to develop projects like this, but in reality, but we're streaming into this and we want people to be engaged in this. And what I think can be really efficient in this development is circular economy. Circular economy is something that we may involve into every single field. So what is circular economy and how can we as youth act in terms of our space and sustainability there? So first is engaging youth into any legislations, enforcing laws, ideas. I see lots of startup projects and our team members, we're a team of 100 volunteers and organizers from 26 countries of the world, including Azerbaijan. And we are having lots of ideas. But the problem is obviously funding. And when it comes to funding, in my opinion, you can engage companies as much as possible because if we give up on 5th and 10th stage, obviously no one's gonna believe in us and invest in us. But if we continue this, then youth will be developing green technology. So in terms of green technology, aerospace, in my research, what I'm specifically determined on finding is SUMP goals. These are the goals for the green technology that I started researching. And one problem that I faced when researching aerospace was resources and open access to resources, especially for youth. So okay, we want to engage into aerospace, we want everything to be sustainable, but there are no resources because in my research, I found resources from NASA, European Space Agency, a little bit of JAXA, Japanese Space Agency, and that's all. What about others? What about resources that youth can implement into strategies that they can develop? So resources also influence circular economy, and this is important. But apart from that, in conferences such as COP29, COP30, 31, International Astronautical Congress 25 and 26, if youth actually participate, it's perfect, it's great. They are able to act in their minds. But we, as the audience, as stakeholders and companies, are not able to react to that because they're not able to speak. Just like me here, we need this drive that can lead to efficient development of our projects. Apart from that, sustainability in aerospace is something special that I love. Why? Because aerospace is a field. Someone might refer as aeronautics, astronautics, someone might think about urban transport. For me, aerospace is just a definition of my heart. And what aerospace really means depends on a person. But in general terms, what we can do, so as we know that rockets are built from steel alloys, from titanium, from different composite materials. However, titanium, and specifically nano-titanium, is what defines a sustainable approach to composite materials while the construction of this rocket. So what else about the aerospace I wanted to specifically focus on is nanotechnology. Because nanotechnology can be implemented into any element or composite structure. But what is nanotechnology? It is when you are increasing surface area of a metal, right? And when you are doing this, you're not just changing the structure and surface area, you are increasing the sustainability of the composite structure that is built from these materials. So that's what also I thought about while researching. And then, youth. When youth are evolving into aerospace, mostly they engage into ideas, but they cannot develop it. So in our opinion, we thought, why not investing with companies and agencies into youth to develop these projects? Last month, NASA selected me to represent them in Azerbaijan and host the first youth-led NASA Space Apps Challenge in Baku, and it went really successful, I would say. But the preparations were exhausting. If you would have seen me 1, 2, 3, or 4 months before NASA Space Apps actually was hosted in Baku, Yusuf was not Yusuf. I mean, you could have seen a person who dealt with emails with rejection after rejection and after rejection, and we were thinking, wow, how come NASA selected us to represent them in Baku? First time youth are hosting this type of an event, but youth are getting rejections on that. So what do we need to change? We need to change the trust, and we need to pick this attention of a company. In Azerbaijan, we don't have much choices. It's just the State Space Agency and the Ministry of Digital Development and Transport that we can approach to. So we started engaging them, and thankfully, they supported us. But this was after 3 months of tiring emailing session and meetings. You would have seen how these team members that are here and much more that are not here with us today, I really want to appreciate them for everything they've done. How much we were sitting and thinking, and what can we do in terms of actual actions, not just, okay, we need to make aerospace sustainable. We need to take an action in green technology. No, we should do this, how? Okay, by doing this, we started. Because this is something that's just a prototype, right? It's not something actual. But we started, and starting matters. So in my opinion, if youth are given this ability to speak and deliver their thoughts to the audience, just like I am doing today, we won't only be able to act as youth, but the audience, stakeholders, and companies will be able to react. So this is one of the mottos that I am specifically holding on to. Youth act for people to react. And in my opinion, if we as youth continue to empower other youth, not only in Azerbaijan, but also in the world, and continue building our efficient teams, strategies, departments, and the solutions to green technology in urban transformation, such as drones, such as decreasing congestion, public transport. What if we take schools of Azerbaijan and other countries which are still developing, and we say, okay, let's create a community where students will be able to gather together, we'll build lanes, bicycle lanes from the city center, and instead of those school buses bringing them to the school, they would bring them to the lanes and they would take a bicycle to school. This would increase the efficiency and decrease the urban transportation inefficiency, basically. So this is one of the solutions, which we have over 100. But what I'm trying to do is to involve youth to develop them further and to give them a chance to speak. So I kindly ask everyone who is hearing me today and watching, let's let the youth act so we can react on further conferences of COP and International Astronautical Congress and other fields of technology and sustainability. Thank you.